Hi everyone, welcome to our YouTube channel. Today I'm going to host a visitor, but before I continue, please like, subscribe and share. Today our visitor is going to tell us about his past and who he is today.
Hi everyone, my name is NGALA'S. I come from Kakoneni. Kakoneni is a town outskirts of Malindi town. As you go to Tsavo, it is in a Jilore location. That is where I come from, born and brought up. Today I'll be sharing a story about myself, and the drive about it is just to encourage somebody outside there that despite coming up from being brought up from a humble background, one should not have his dreams under the pillow because you say there's no way out. But I understand after sharing the story, I will encourage somebody down there, somebody outside there who come from or who is coming from such a background to make sure that he makes his dreams come true.
Karibu sana. So, having introduced yourself, kindly tell us where did your journey begin and your growing environment?
My journey began in Kakoneni, where I was born and brought up. Actually, that is where I started off. Kakoneni is a village, as I earlier said, in Jilore location, outskirts of Malindi. My family background, I was raised in a family of around 7 siblings. This was a polygamous family. We had our dad who had 4 wives. So my mother had to be what we can call the last one, the 4th wife. So it was such a beautiful family, I will say. But the unfortunate bit is that all these we call parents were uneducated. They're people who never went to school. They depended mostly on land. And they're people, when we look at the social side of it, these are people who never went to school. These are people who never went to church. So they're just, we can say they're traditionalists. They're people who just believed in their tradition. So brought up in that setup, that made me who I am. However, I know there are drives which changed me later on, but that is how I was brought up.
If you could describe your childhood environment, what could it be and why?
Well, I would love to say my background, my beginning was so humble, to modesty actually, because it many times you find we are surrounded by the circumstances where we would go without food, would meet financial challenges here and there, every time and again. So things weren't smooth. So I can say it was so humble in a way that getting something on the table wasn't automatic. So it's not something that we would wake up and say, we're going to eat this and this. Just the normal ugali and whatever it come with, if it is greens or whatever, and you say, hallelujah, this is what we've got, because sometimes you go without it anyway. So that's why I say it is a humble beginning.
Yes. What were some of the challenges and limitations you faced when growing up?
Well, I can say one is the poverty around us, that noting the fact that our parents were not employed, they were not educated, so bringing food on the table purely depended on farming. And you understand, when we farm and we don't have the technology, then we depend purely on what God brings. When there rains, fine, we make it. When there is drought, of course, you will not get anything. So that is the times you find you go without food many times, so your parents will go out to hustle. So the first thing that comes in your mind is what your parents will be able to bring on the table. So as already now, narrows the chances of good education, because if there is no, you cannot even afford a meal. Can you afford a good education? Of course, no.
Was there a time you realized that life would have changed?
Oh, yes. Because looking around, of course, we, as much as we started from a humble background, there are villages around there. There are children from other families who are doing well, people who went to school. So you could see their life was better than yours. So I knew when I work hard, something will definitely change. That is why I had that drive. I had to work hard to change this whole narrative.
What gave you hope in those times?
The fact that now I've gotten an opportunity to go to class was already hope enough, because you see, if you have started a journey, no matter how long it might take you, you know you are in the right trajectory, you will make it one day. So basically, that gave me hope that I know as I'm pursuing my education, one day for sure, I will make things right.
There's a time I will be specific, because there are many times life pushed me to a corner, but I want to be precise on this one because I just saw everything had come to a halt. There was this time when the then MP who used to fund my education lost his seat, and a new MP came in. So I was going into my fourth form. So going to him, the discussion wasn't a good one because I understand I went to Parliament where I had access. So I sought an audience with him. So when he came, I explained myself that, okay, here I am. I'm in high school. I'm going to fall. I'm now in fourth form, but I've been supported throughout by so and so. So here I am because now again this is my final year and I need assistance. But this guy, I didn't like the way he answered me because, to be honest, I still feel that bitterness up to today. I've tried many times to let it go. But you see, coming from a member of parliament you have voted in, I didn't really like it because somebody telling you, you should have known long time that coming to a national school all the way from Malindi to Nairobi is expensive and should have looked for some other ways out of this, but not asking for MPs to pay or fund your education wasn't a good answer because I remember even some MP from some place I can't even remember because I was still young that time. He was shocked with such an answer and he gave me, then 500 shillings was a lot of money. That guy gave me 500 shillings. I told him, you go back home, see if you can get some other avenues because from his answer, this guy will not assist you. So that is the time I felt like now there is a dark curtain just covering my dreams. And it was so bitter. So I had to travel from Nairobi, coming back to Malindi. Now my head was spinning, thinking of what will become of me. Now here I am, closer to the finishing line, but there is no light. It's like now everything has come to a halt. So that was quite a moment. I was in tears all through as I traveled back to Malindi and I went and joined my family. They weren't happy to see me back. However, I picked up courage and I told my dad and my mom, you've done your best. So there's no need for us to cry over this. There's no need to feel bad about everything else. We've tried our best. So I accepted and I decided now to join them in the farming business that has always been there. So I had lost hope. But one day, God answered my prayers because the same guy who had lost his seat came to me. And he told me now, we cannot just waste the 3 years that we've been in school. I've spoken to the school administration. You can now go back, prepare. You have lost enough, but at least give it your all. You see if you can do your exams, then you will come and see what you can do. Pull yourself together, raise funds, clear the balances and get your results. So that arrangement at least gave me some encouragement, gave me some comfort. I saw like God has come to my rescue. Now, yes, still I can achieve my dreams. So I went to school. Here you are going to school, you don't have a penny in your pocket, you don't have nothing, but you feel contented to such an extent that you do not even ask for any pocket money, because already he has done enough. He's spoken to the school administration. You are going to be housed in school, you are going to be fed in school. That was enough for me, because now I have found a way out of the problem that was circling me. So I went to Nairobi school, back to school, prepared, and I did my exams. Now I sighed with relief when I did my last paper. It was like, God, you are great. At least now I've done this. Despite that, I have a huge fee balance to go look for. But that didn't even worry me, because at least I know one phase of the struggle is over. So that gave me comfort, and I sighed with relief. I came back home after I've done my fourth form exam, and I came back home with a smile at least.